Do you know what makes up your credit report? Ever wonder why it's so important? Well, let's dive right in, shall we? A credit report, folks, is a detailed record of your credit history. It's like a report card on how you handle your money, and it matters a lot. Now, this report card is made up of 5 key components. First up, we have your payment history. This makes up a whopping 35% of your report. Next, we have utilization. That's about 30% of your report. Then comes your credit age, which is 15% of your report. The remaining 20% is split evenly between your total accounts and hard inquiries. That's right, each of these holds a 10% stake in your credit report. So why should you care about these components? Well, they can make or break your financial future. Stay tuned to get the lowdown on each of these components and why you should care about them. Payment history, folks, it makes up a whopping 35% of your credit report. Now, what does this mean and why should you care? Well, sit tight and let's navigate these waters together. Imagine your credit report as a pie chart, all colorful and round. Your payment history takes up more than 1/3 of that pie. It's like the big cheese of your credit profile, the head honcho, the top dog. You get the picture, right? Let's break it down. Your payment history is a record of your repayment habits. It's like a report card that shows how punctual you've been with your credit card bills, loans, and any other lines of credit. Lenders use this information to gauge whether you're a safe bet or a wild card. Now you might be thinking, I missed a payment or two in the past, am I doomed? Absolutely not. Sure, a perfect payment history is ideal, but we're all human, and life can throw us some curveballs. The key is not to let those hiccups turn into habits. Here's the deal. If you've fallen behind, it's never too late to start making your payments on time. Each on-time payment you make is like a gold star on your report card. Over time, these gold stars can outshine those past missteps. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. The more on-time payments you make, the bigger and better your credit score becomes. The momentum builds, and before you know it, you've got a great credit score that opens doors to better loan and credit card offers. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Your payment history is a big piece of the credit score puzzle. It's your chance to show lenders that you're reliable and responsible. Whether you're just starting out or trying to improve your score, remember that every on-time payment counts. Remember, your payment history is a big deal, so keep those payments on time. It's like keeping the rhythm in a catchy tune. Skip a beat and you'll notice. Stay on beat and you'll create a melody that's music to lenders' ears. Next up is utilization, making up 30% of your credit report. Now, if you're scratching your head wondering what in the world is utilization, don't worry, we've got you covered. In the simplest terms, credit utilization is the ratio of your outstanding credit card balances to your credit card limits. It measures the amount of your revolving credit that you're using in relation to the amount you have available. It's like a financial seesaw where the balance keeps shifting. Let's break it down a bit more. Suppose you have 3 credit cards with limits of $5,000 each. That's a total of $15,000 in credit. Now, let's say you owe $2,000 on one, $3,000 on another, and nothing on the third. Add those up, and you've got $5,000 of credit utilized out of a total of $15,000 available. That's a utilization ratio of 33%. Now, here's the kicker. While having access to credit is good, using too much of it is not. It's like having a big, delicious cake in front of you. Just because it's there doesn't mean you should eat the whole thing in one sitting. Financial experts generally recommend keeping your credit utilization below 30%. That's seen as a safe zone. But if you really want to impress those credit score gurus and aim for optimal scores, keep it below 10%. Why, you ask? Well, high credit utilization can indicate that you're at risk of overextending yourself, which can make potential lenders nervous. On the other hand, low credit utilization suggests that you handle your credit responsibly. So, think of your credit limit like a speed limit. Just because you can go up to a certain speed doesn't mean you should. It's always safer and better for your credit health to stay well below your limit. Remember, your credit score is like a financial reputation. And you know what they say about reputations. They take years to build and seconds to break. So keep an eye on those credit limits and try to stay well below them. Let's talk about your credit age, which accounts for 15% of your credit report. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is credit age? Well, it's simpler than it sounds. Credit age, or length of credit, refers to how long you've had your credit accounts open. It's like the rings on a tree, each year adding another layer to your financial history. Why is this important, you ask? Well, the longer you've had an account open, the more information lenders have about your financial habits. This can play a big role in determining your creditworthiness. Think of it as a long-running movie of your financial life. The longer the movie, the more lenders can understand about your habits and reliability. Now, here's a tip that might just save your credit score. Don't close those old accounts you don't use anymore. You might think they're just cluttering up your credit report, but in reality, they're pumping up your credit age. It's like a fine wine. The older it gets, the better it is. Your credit age is calculated by taking the average age of all your credit accounts. This includes your oldest account and your newest account. So if you close an old account, you're effectively lowering the average. And trust us, in this game, age is definitely a plus. In conclusion, your credit age is a testament to your financial journey. It's a record of your consistency and reliability. So remember, old is gold in the credit world. Your credit age matters, so don't close those old accounts you don't use anymore. Moving on to total accounts, which makes up 10% of your credit report. Now you might be thinking, total accounts? What's that all about? Well, let me break it down for you. Your total accounts are essentially the number of credit lines you have open. This could be credit cards, loans, mortgages, you name it. Think about it like this. When you juggle, the more balls you can keep in the air, the more impressive your act is, right? Same goes for your credit. The more accounts you can manage well, the more impressive you look to the credit bureaus. They see someone who can handle multiple credit lines and think, this person knows what they're doing. But hold up, don't rush off to open a dozen credit cards just yet. Remember, it's not just about having these accounts. It's about managing them responsibly. That means making timely payments, keeping your balances low, and not going overboard with new credit. It's like our juggling act. If you can keep 3 balls in the air, that's great. But if you try to juggle 6 and drop them all, well, that's not going to impress anyone, is it? Same with credit accounts. It's better to have a few accounts that you manage well than many that you're struggling with. So having multiple accounts can work in your favor, but remember, it's about managing them responsibly. Last but not least, hard inquiries making up the final 10% of your credit report. Now, what's a hard inquiry, you may ask? Well, it's when a lender or financial institution checks your credit when you apply for a loan or credit card. It's like someone peeking into your financial house to see if you've been keeping things tidy. The thing about hard inquiries is that they can slightly lower your credit scores, and they remain on your report for about 2 years. It's kind of like a footprint on a freshly mopped floor. Not a big deal if it's just 1 or 2, but a whole bunch, that's going to leave a mark. So if you're thinking about applying for multiple accounts all at once, hold your horses. Each application could mean another hard inquiry, which could drop your score. It's a balancing act, y'all, so don't be too quick to apply for new accounts. Keep those hard inquiries to a minimum. All right, we've gone through the 5 components that shape your credit report. Let's take a moment to recap. Firstly, we got payment history, making up a whopping 35% of your report. Keep those payments on time, and if you're lagging, start catching up. Next up, utilization, taking a 30% slice of your credit pie. It's the sum of all your credit limits together. Aim for below 10% for the best scores, but under 30% will still keep you in the green. Then we have credit age, which is 15% of your report. The longer the account, the better, so don't rush to close those old accounts gathering dust. Total accounts, representing 10%, show you can juggle multiple responsibilities. Lastly, hard inquiries, also at 10%. You want to keep this low, so take it easy on applying for new accounts. Remember, understanding your credit report is key to financial success, so take these points to heart and manage your credit like a pro.